was definitely in denial because I had people telling me, your lips look too big, like, oh, this is too much. But at the time, I'm like, no, it's not.
Just watch me now. Just watch me. Just watch me.
Welcome back to my series of Changing Lives. If you're just tuning in, I'm Sarah from SLA Medical, and today we actually have a really special guest. Her name is Okaylaaa.
Hi guys, Kayla.
So we have quite an interesting story, how we met, and I guess the likes of Instagram today connect people all around the world. And fortunately for us, this was compatible and we were able to really transform Okaylaa's life. So thanks for joining.
I love being here, by the way. Anywhere near you is fine.
So how did you come across us to begin with?
Yeah, so whenever I'm looking for anyone to do any sort of aesthetics or just hair or any sort of procedure like that in general, I always look on social media. So I'll look at hashtags, I'll look at who influencers use and who just comes up like a lot with good reviews and stuff like that. So I found you guys because I found a lot of good reviews on Instagram using the hashtags. I think it's normally like whatever area I'm in and whatever I'm looking for. So it would have been like Manchester aesthetics or something like that. So I found you guys through that and I just had a look through your stuff and obviously it looked amazing.
Yeah.
And natural, which is what obviously the issues that I was having, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, so let's explain to the viewers, if you guys don't know Okaylaa's story or background, kind of what led you to me. Why did you seek out SLA Medical?
So I knew there was something wrong with my face. I couldn't 100% pinpoint what it was, but I knew that I needed someone with not just like your average level of filler experience or just more medical background to figure out what it is. Because if I didn't know myself looking at my own face, like how can I expect a stranger who just does everyday injecting to figure it out? So that's why I went to you guys, because obviously medically with a medical background.
Yeah.
So the problems I was having is that my face looked distorted, but I wasn't sure why or where or how. It just looked different to what my face looked like before. Yeah. I thought that all the filler had gone, as I'd mentioned to you a few times before. But feeling the lumps and things in my lips were still overfilled, but my face was just distorted, wasn't it? It was just wasn't, it was like not lumpy, but just a square face. I had a square face.
Absolutely.
So I got to this issue from having so much filler over the years that I thought had dissolved, but I was actually just layering on top of each other. That's what we figured out, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So this was mainly from just using or going to practitioners who do packages. So like 5 mils for £200. I can't remember, it was a while ago. You know, like Kim K packages.
Absolutely.
Whatever celebrity is popular at the time packages. So I don't know what it would be now. Who's Dua Lipa package? You know, they would be doing that now.
Yeah,
Kylie Jenner, all of the Kardashians, like packages like that. So when I was going to these practitioner, me thinking that I wanted just 1 mil for my lips, I was almost being sold more filler because it works out cheaper, so why would you not? Yeah. It's like when you go into a shop and they're like, you can get 1 can of Coke for £1 or you can get 5 for £1.50. You're like,
you better work out 5.
Literally gonna get the 5 or it just sounds stupid.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting that and then I kind of got addicted to the packages, like how cheap they were and like the dramatic changes that I was getting as soon as I was leaving, like I was seeing all this harsh and like when I was taking pictures, my highlight was popping because my cheek was like jagged out.
Literally popping.
Literally popping out of my face like a dagger. So I was getting addicted to that and I was also getting addicted to the way my face looked in general. So I thought whenever it moved or what I thought was dissolving or just leaving, so it wasn't there anymore, just migrating is what we figured out it was actually doing. I would go back and want more because I'm like, okay, I haven't got this shock factor anymore. My cheek isn't like popping out anymore. My jaw's not like dead straight and my lips aren't like
projected.
So I must need more. But this was like 2 months later.
Wow.
What you told me was, I know now, it can take up to 6 years for it to actually dissolve. So
yeah. So this guys, I think, and a lot of other practitioners would probably agree with me, that now we've got this huge era, almost a pandemic, of overfilled faces. And We termed it really well, didn't we? And it was called filler blind.
Yeah.
People are becoming filler blind. They're getting the results straight away. They're getting an immediate swell. So they get addicted to the swelling. And then when the trauma and the inflammation settles, they almost want that back again.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I'm getting swollen, I love it, and then, okay, hang on, you're taking something away from me. I want it back now. So I'm literally booking in the next 4 weeks.
Literally.
And there's practitioners that are continuously treating this, right?
Yeah, because you're making like, some of these packages can go up to $1,000 for like, I don't know how many mil. Why would you say no if you're that hungry for the money?
Correct.
Of course,
Yeah.
they're just after it. And you're almost in, I was definitely in denial because
Yeah.
I had people telling me, your lips look too big, like, oh, this is too much. But at the time I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I look great, like my highlights popping, like my makeup was going on nicely.
Yeah.
Obviously, couldn't see how big my lips were. So, and it's still now, you see so many people in denial, like you can't even tell them. You have to try and wait for them to figure it out for themselves and look out for people like you
Yeah.
who actually will tell them. From a medical
Absolutely.
perspective.
But I think also, right, like it's becoming normalized. I think overfilled faces and certain face shapes, guys, is becoming normalized, which is really sad. Because not only are we looking distorted, I feel like everyone looks the freaking same.
Oh, everyone's,
There's
like a
like this-
filter.
Yeah, it's like a filter. And they're all getting the same cheek projection, the same chin projection, and the same angle of the jaw. It's really odd. So that's kind of how we met, and we got brought to the attention that we needed to do something.
Yeah.
And then what was the process like? What did we do? Because this was quite traumatic for some people when they get told, okay, you know, you now have to dissolve everything in your face.
That's what everyone's scared of. And I think almost like the filler becomes an identity for someone, and they feel like, especially at the start when you have like not much lips or just small amount of lips and you have like 1 mil put in and everyone's like, wow, your lips look great. Like, and you're like, oh, do they? I guess I'll have some more then.
Absolutely.
Give me like 5 more mils. I guess the more, the more,
bigger they are, the
merrier.
better they're gonna look.
Literally. So you get addicted to like the sudden
Transformation.
Yeah, and like and the compliments, but then I feel like the compliments obviously start going away when you start getting more and more, but you just aren't hearing it in your brain. But yeah, so that's what everyone's scared of, I think, dissolving, taking their identity away, and like they've had all these compliments about how nice their lips are. What am I going to look like when all of that is taken away? Am I going to go back to like tiny lips? Like, no one has tiny lips. Like,
Did you forget what you look like?
Absolutely. That's why I came to you, because I was like, I feel like this is not my face, but I can't put my finger on what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy because we were almost, I remember there was a picture of Molly May and she looked really boxy and over projected and really distorted. And now that they do the before and after of her, it was really similar to your face shape.
It was me.
It was like the Love Island face.
Literally, it was like someone's gone,
Yeah.
just put it straight. But at the time I saw it and I was like, oh my God, that's so crazy. But I was sat there with the same face going, oh my God, that's so crazy. How's she done that?
That's me, but I didn't
Literally,
realize.
it was the harsh jaw, harsh cheeks, harsh chin, harsh lips, everything. Like,
Yeah.
it's the packages that will get you.
So I think just going back to when we dissolved, we had to, for the viewers, when you dissolve dermal filler, like a hyaluronic acid-based dermal filler, you need to wait around about, it's quite subjective depending on which practitioner you go to, but minimum 7 days. 14 seems to be an optimal time to retreat. 28 days would be great to let everything settle and let all the new cell turnover happen. But generally 14 days is kind of a rule in aesthetics these days.
We waited 14 days.
We did, didn't
Yeah.
we? And how did you feel when you had no filler for 14 days?
Well, to be honest, as you said, I think because I had a lot to dissolve, and I think you diluted it and did it carefully, so you didn't dissolve a lot of my collagen. Is that right?
Yes,
I remember
correct.
that.
Remembers.
So it did dissolve a little bit of the collagen in my lips. You said.
Yeah.
My lips, because they were so big and projected, they were like. I mean, I'm sure you put a picture somewhere.
Yeah, guys.
They did. Almost like shrink down,
were
like tiny
pruny
little
cry.
prunes. But after like a week, I wasn't mad. I didn't mind it. It was almost like fresh. It was a fresh look
that's
instead of
right.
a harsh look.
Yeah, and that is the process of the hyaluronidase. So what it does is it dissolves everything at a certain rate, and then as it takes the actual dermal filler out, your body then has to repair its tissue. So your hydration has to come back, your elastin, your collagen all starts to repair. And then this is where you start to see it like day 7, day 10. Oh, okay, it doesn't look that bad.
It's the initial shock factor.
Yeah, the next morning.
Yeah. Oh, then
Yeah.
because it does go. It's
Instantly.
not like slowly. You'll just be like going about your day, looking in the mirror, and all of a sudden you've got absolutely no lips. But I got more compliments after they were dissolved than I did for a long time when I had the filler. So
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
because people were seeing it from an outside perspective. But that kind of like, I was like, oh, okay, maybe like the more natural is better. And I feel like more natural is starting to creep in. So people
Yeah.
are starting to go more towards like dissolving.
I think the trend of Kylie Jenner has really led a lot of people back down that naturalism route. I think we'll have peaks and troughs of this forever.
Even Molly May with her face going from that to dissolve. She's got,
Yeah.
I don't think she has much in her face
yeah,
now.
she has minor
Some,
tweaks, I
but
think,
like,
but she looks a lot more natural.
Yeah, she's had her veneers and everything removed. Hasn't she?
Yeah,
Very natural, very natural.
absolutely. So I think the one thing I wanted to talk to you about was we then refilled the first time, and then we refilled around about a year later, because this was quite scary for you, going, oh my gosh, I only get filler once a year.
Yeah.
But if we, at your age as well, you know, you're young, so you have a lot of collagen. For now, no. You'll stay young being with me.
16 up there somewhere.
You know, she has young collagen, still nice elastin, nice fat pads. So because of that, we don't really need to restore a lot of volume. We just need to enhance her. And that's very different from someone attending in maybe their 50s, which has lost a lot more volume, and we have to go through that restoration phase. So ideally, it was very easy. When used the right way, when we follow the geometry of beauty, you can place filler in areas and it look extremely natural, yet still very striking. So there was the first time we refilled you, which was really nice.
That was really nice.
We took you to it was her natural face shape, guys. She
was
actually
cutesy.
looked so innocent and young. We took years off.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I
you looked
looked
so much
old. I
older.
looked so old.
Yeah, you did look so
I
old.
looked so old.
And that's crazy, right? You get injectables for anti-aging, not to make you look more aged.
And like more masculine. I was
Yes.
definitely more masculine. Somehow managed to make me old and change sex.
Harsh.
Like, wow, very harsh.
Yeah.
It was because they were selling a very harsh jaw, which was never going to stay as a harsh jaw anyway, was it?
Correct, that's right.
The point
She's
there,
listened.
I listened very well.
She's listened. So that when you add all this filler in, guys, and you might walk out with this jawline that looks extremely structured, dermal filler is a gel. It softens. So therefore, and you want it to soften because how it behaves in the tissues, it needs to start to implement itself. It needs to start to disperse and then enables to metabolize. So enable for it to do that, it has to soften. But people think they're going to keep this harsh jaw. So when it starts to soften, that's when you lose the effect. And then that striking clinical effect that people look at, go, okay, time for more. And so they build and build and build. And all of a sudden they've got this big, round jawline, which actually makes them look chubbier and older. It's mad.
And I feel like mine was injected there. And I ended up with some around here. Do you remember?
Absolutely.
I think we had to dissolve a couple times, in fact, because
We did.
we didn't want to do it too much in one go anyway. But it was because there was like double balls of it.
Yeah.
Because it was different.
I was
generations
baffled.
of filler.
Yeah, generations of filler, literally
Literally.
with different personalities because different brands were used. And I actually had no idea what I was working with. And Kayla didn't even know what was in her face.
I didn't even know it was in my face. Like, oh, do you remember I came to you and I was like, I think there's something in my face. You were like, surely not. And you were like, oh my good God, there is.
Yeah, literally, like it was detached. The filler was detached in the tissue. And then because of that, it has more spread to migrate because it's in a really free space. So the integration into the tissue does its job, but then it just kind of poof everywhere. So that was, it was kind of a process. But once we got you to a nice face shape, we then just had to maintain you. And you did a really good edit, and we'll put this up, guys, the photos to show you where we went from before to 1 year later, and then again, we did her again. Now, I said to Kayla, the beauty of dermal filler when you've done it correctly is that you can actually choose what face shape you want to be. And if you respect the geometry of beauty and you inject to those parameters, we can give you what you like, which is quite cool.
Instead of just going
Yeah.
on everyone.
So the difference is that when you come to places like SLA Medical, we do the SLA refresh. It's a blueprint. I've designed this technique so that you can walk out not only looking like any face shape you like, but actually looking very natural, which is really nice to see today, because I guess that doesn't exist in many places. And I don't actually see anyone use techniques like the SLA refresh today.
No, I haven't seen anyone no one can you go on their page and wonder if they've had it done. If you do it before and after, like you see your before and afters, obviously you can tell the big difference. But if you was just to put it up, you wouldn't be like, oh, they've had a package or they've had this and that. And that's why you guys are so different.
That's true. That's a really good point, because if you look at their after photos alone, you probably wouldn't be able to tell.
You would just think they look fresh.
How did you feel when we were able to give you, remember the second look? And we gave you, so we switched. So the SLA refresh, right? The beauty of it is that we stick to the principles of the geometry of beauty, but then we talk about negotiables and non-negotiables when we inject. The non-negotiables are our lifting elements and the ones to make us look more refreshed and to elongate our jaw and address all the areas where we age. The negotiables are the ones where we can then enhance. So we can say, okay, we want to look a little more striking today. And what did we do? We did a higher cheekbone, we did a more projected chin, and we got to a more diamond shape, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we amplified your lips slightly more and gave you a bit more of a sexy look. And it's really easy to see in the photos that there was a definite difference.
There was.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like even though, obviously, you're the same practitioner, you use the same filler and everything, it's just like the small tweaks. You used a tiny bit more here or a tiny bit more there. The fact that you can change my entire face shape is crazy.
Yeah.
And I saw a difference going out and about. Like I feel like I got more attention after the diamond shape.
Yeah.
I felt more like it suited
Sexy.
my, it sounds so crazy when I'm talking about my face, but I feel like it suited my age a little bit more. Where before I looked a bit more, not
young.
Yeah, young. It just looked younger. But
yeah, that's so right actually, because depending upon what personality you want to play, I guess you can actually inject to portray that. Crazy, right? So just to wrap things up, is there anything you've got to viewers? Have you got any tips for them to be able to search for a good practitioner or to assess their own face?
I would just say make sure that you don't fall for any sales or marketing schemes as in like buy this, get this, or packages in general. Obviously, I hope that you wouldn't from what we've said anyway, but anything that sounds like it's too good to be true, anything that looks too edited, anything you can't see in a video, and make sure you get personal reviews as well, because I knew people that you have treated.
Yeah.
They gave me very good reviews about you. That's why I came to you to fix my problem, because obviously before I was just kind of going for like whoever's big on Instagram, and like they may seem popular, but you want to be popular for the right reasons, not just like
bam. You want to be credible, guys, because your followers doesn't make you credible in this industry. In the influencer world, absolutely, because that's your job and that is how you market yourself. But as a professional medical esthetician, you really need to make sure that you've got the experience, the skill set, the licensing, the regulation, the insurance, all of those things. Your followers actually don't matter. And a lot of medics don't really grow their social medias based off their credibility. It's more that's just a platform for them to showcase their before and afters. And I think that's really important to make sure that you don't get sucked into this, because people now, it's a new world, right?
Yeah.
It's all online. And unfortunately, people are really getting taken advantage of. And I think it's really sad. But you know, that's why we're here. We can encourage people to make good decisions. And you know, we've completely transformed you. What about your confidence? Like, what's changed there?
I feel like I've changed my identity a little bit, because obviously before I was hiding behind my big lips and things like that, and I feel like my personality's come out a lot more now. It's strange to say, but
yeah,
do
do people comment about that?
Yeah, a lot of the time, like especially if I post any TikToks and stuff, because I've been on YouTube for a while now, people will be like, oh, I used to watch your YouTube videos all the time, and like I didn't realize how bad it was. One last thing I want to say is that make sure you research, as we've said, but go to someone that knows how to say no to you, because had I been told no or just not egged on, I definitely would not have been in the situation that I was in. And luckily it was reversible, but it's not always the case. And sometimes really bad things can happen. So just make sure you go to someone who knows how to say no. I would almost trick them and be like, hey, can I have 20 mil in my forehead or my eyes?
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And see if they'll say no. See if they'll be like, you're crazy, get out of my clinic.
Yeah, and that's someone you want to be with. That's a practitioner you want to go to. And I've said no to you.
You have said no.
Yeah.
I said, basically I have very strong forehead lines. And if I even see it the tiniest bit twitching, I'm like, please, can I have some more? And I said, can I have some more anti-wrinkle injections? And she said, no. You have to wait because it's too much too soon. And that's why I appreciate you, because not sending me down that route again.
Yeah, that's the importance of ethical, behavior. That's ethical practitioners.
Yeah.
That is the difference, guys. And that's how you'll make sure that you can choose a really good practitioner. You don't end up in a situation where, God forbid, you couldn't actually reverse it, because there is fillers today that are dodgy and we don't know where they've come from. They're not approved, they're permanent, and you don't want to be up shit creek.
Like those fox eye things where they
Oh my
you have
God.
to have surgery to remove
That
them,
is like
don't
a
you?
whole nother video. We need to touch base on that. That is
Literally.
like epic. Okay, so thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe. Also, I am going to tag Kayla. You can follow the journey because she's actually documented it on TikTok, on her YouTube and her Instagram. Head over to our Instagram as well. There's a lot of footage on there. And if you have any concerns, you want any advice, chuck a comment in. I'm more than happy to review your face. And also if you're just unsure, like Kayla, if you just don't know.
It's better to find out because, God forbid, I was still with that face.
Yeah, the pandemic is over. Thank God.
Literally.
Thanks, guys.
Watch me now.